live, or at least Facebook and YouTube are trying to get live. All right, bet. All right, so I'm live. I'm live. So um, I will just do some generals. Let's see. Let's do the whole share thing. Bow, 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 bow. Let's do the whole little share. Do a little share. Do a little sharing. There we go. All right. All right, now we go. Now I'm situated. Greetings, salutations. Hello, everybody on TikTok. TikTok is in the building first. Alafia. This is Ianifa Owini Adina Zulusimi Faomi Shango. And it is officially after my Odunfa. So for those who have not been here and had not heard or don't know what an Odunfa is, I just celebrated the anniversary of my initiation. Specifically, for me, it's technically my 4 year, well, moving into 4 years as Ianifa, so that's my Odunfa, and then also moving into 4 years as being a priestess of Shango, Iamoja, and another. So, well, in the Iyami. So I am post celebration. We had several things going on last week to kind of celebrate my going into 4 years, celebrating just the journey with Ifa in a very general sense, celebrating the journey with Ifa. So Alafia Omishola, um, just really just reflecting on the week and how it went and kind of sharing just what went on. So initially, just to kind of like get some backstory. So I did stuff for my Odunfa in a general sense the previous years, but I almost always was kind of like solo. I think last year was the first time there was anyone actually physically here at my house around my Odunfa, but um, otherwise, like it was kind of like a solo thing, and because just the way that things were with the Elay and things of that nature. So my Odunfa had really just been solo. So this year was the first time I really had a chance to like, no, do it up, and this is a festival and celebrate because that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a festival and festivities and celebration. You celebrate, your anniversary with Ifa. You celebrate if you have any Orishas around the same time. You celebrate the Orishas that you initiated into at that same time. It's supposed to be just a beautiful celebration. I consider it like my rebirth day because that's what it really is. It's like my rebirth day. So this year, the original plan for September was that plus for our my temple's divination for 2024, we were supposed to do a river wash with Oshun. So I planned that particular same weekend they could come and we could do the river wash with Oshun, and then I would, celebrate my Odunfa. And I just want to say everything happened like that, but it was a really beautiful weekend. I ended up needing to do ceremony. So I birthed two new owls in my lineage. So we have some new owls in the fold, and I'm really excited for these young women. And then I also did two Isefa, so two hands of Ifa. No, I'm sorry, three hand of Ifa as well. So two Itefas and three Isefas, and then the Oshun wash, and also celebrating my Odunfa. So it was a week of ceremony, it was a week of festivities. Going to the water was the way the week kind of opened up for us. So everybody came into town, and then there's a spot close to me that has a healing spring, and that's where Oshun wanted us to go. And it's a beautiful location. It's such a beautiful location and peaceful. Even with everybody that comes there to get water, it's really quiet. Even with everybody that comes to get water, it's actually a really quiet spot. So we were able to go and One of my goddaughters brought her kids with her, which I thought was really beautiful to just have the kids there to also be a part of that experience. And there was crying through the cleansing, and that was really cool to just be able to just release and also call in blessings. So I was really, really just grateful to be able to share that with them. We ended up afterwards because our plan was to go do the river wash and then we're going to do something afterwards. So we still went ahead. Our plan initially was to go to Oyotunji, but out of respect for what's going on at Oyotunji, we said we will plan that for next year and allow them to continue, their grieving process. I know they're not going to be doing the funeral rites until the first week of next month, I think, based on what I saw. Hey, Sweet Pea, thank you. So we got to go to a plantation that's close by. So we went to this plantation, and let me just talk about people who visit plantations. Let me just say this. One, I feel a way being a descendant of enslaved Africans, and I got to pay for a tour that's led by someone that looked like one of the enslavers. I just feel someone kind of way about that. Like I felt a way, like I'm not paying for no tour. I'm just not. I absolutely refuse. I'm not paying for no tour. I feel a way that there is a gift shop on site that just vexes me. Like, why is this gift shop here? Like, why? Why is this gift shop here? What are you doing with the money from the gift shop? Are you giving it to something that supports the descendants of the enslaved Africans? Because if you're not, why is this gift shop here? Why is it here? So that part, always vexes me. The other piece of it is, I've heard people say, "Hey, Maddie, Alafia." I've heard people talk about going to plantations and they're going to sage and all. Sometimes sage ain't going to be the thing for everything. Like you can't. Sage is not going to be the thing to use for everything. So going to the plantation and you want to take some sage, okay. But what is that doing for the ancestors? What is that doing for them? So for people who want to go visit plantations and things of that nature, and you're like, what should you do? My personal suggestion, again, this is personal. One, you should take offerings. Like you should not set foot on that land and not take an offering, not take some sort of offering to them out of respect for those ancestors. Like I can't fathom going to that area and not having something. So I actually had something on me since I knew that we were going to be going there. So the other part of it is like going there with the understanding that there may be some earthbound energy still there, because consider all the trauma that they went through and the likelihood that they were unable to do the appropriate funeral rites to elevate those individuals to the ancestral realm. Like it being able to call them and wail and cry and send them home that way they need to may or may not have been happening. So we can hope that they made it, but those funeral rites are the thing that makes that helps usher them home. And if you're not going to do work to help them, any of them that are still there to get home, what you going for? What do you want to see? What you want to see that you can't see in a book? Why are you going there in person to just for nothing? So I would just say if it's something you feel like doing, I would consider why do you want to go? What is the call? Because if you feel like I feel really called to go to this plantation, Alafia han ato shuri iwori wofun. If you feel called to go, I would ask the question of yourself, why? Is there something you're meant to do there? Is there an ancestor of yours there? Especially if you're going to one where one of your ancestors was and you're not going there to do elevation work, again, what is your purpose? Why are you going? So we go, and there was an ancestor there, and she was basically stuck. And I'm going to try really hard to do this without emoting too much, but I will go ahead and say trigger warning in advance. Like this is the story of an ancestor who was living and stopped living on this plantation. And she came through, one of my goddaughters picked her up, and she could see like she was being shown something. And she's being shown because she didn't want to leave. She wanted people to know what happened to her, know what happened to her family, and know that she was there. She wanted people to know that she was there. And her name was Anne. And she, we knew how the slave owners were about, the black women there. And he felt a way because she had fallen in love. He felt a way because she had fallen in love and she was his property. How dare you fall in love? I didn't give you permission to fall in love with someone. So she had fallen in love, and her and this young man had gotten married. And so they're married, they're in love, and he didn't like that. And one day, something happens, and he's trying to protect her from them. She had just had a baby. So she's got a baby, and the man that ran the plantation, he's like, okay, you can't go. Her husband is trying to protect her. And so they unalive her husband in front of her. Anne had to watch her husband be strung up on this tree, probably among other things. Then Anne had her baby with her, and they took her baby. And you would think, okay, maybe they sold the baby off. That's not what happened to the baby. It's a baby. It's a baby. Anne had to live knowing that the man she loved and the baby she birthed were no longer in this realm. The man she loved and the baby she birthed were no longer in this realm. And she had to watch it happen. And then, I love you, Darcel. And then, if that wasn't enough, then they assaulted her. So you have unalived her husband, you have unalived her baby, and then you proceed to assault her. All because you mad. All because you mad. When you go into these plantations, these are the stories that are living on those grounds. When you go visit plantations, these are the stories that are living in those trees. When you go to these plantations and you're visiting and you're walking around and you're walking through their slave quarters, those are the stories lingering in those walls and on those floorboards. If you're not going there to do work, what you going for? If you're not going there to pick up at least one ancestor's memory, and for like, we had to help her leave. Well, I understand we went there with the expectation of work. We went there not just simply to see, we went with the expectation of work. And I'm honored that we were able to do that work, where my goddaughter was able to pick up her story and remember her story and learn her story. And all of us were able to hear her story so we could retell her story so that other people would know what happened there. The other part was she needed to go home. There was time for this. Was in, in Isheshe, it's earth is the marketplace, Orun is home. Earth is a marketplace, heaven is home. She needed to go home. She needed to know it was okay. She needed to know, Anne needed to know that she was not forgotten. Anne was in need of knowing that she had not been forgotten, that we were going to remember her, that we were going to tell others about what happened to her, that she would not be forgotten. I cannot imagine what that would have been like for her to have to endure that horror. It wasn't enough to have to endure the regular horrors they were already enduring, but then to have that happen and to have to continue to live on afterwards. Of course she stayed. Of course she stayed. And I want you to consider how many of our ancestors that were enslaved are still there on those lands? How many of them do you think actually have been able to elevate and go home? How many of them have been able to let go of the trauma, of the pain, without assistance, without remembering, without elevation work being done? This is why we do ancestor work. This is why we do ancestor work. For those thinking like, you do ancestor work because you're trying to, supersede God, that's not what this is. This is why we do ancestor work. We do ancestor work so that our family members, that our loved ones are not stuck here in this realm when they're supposed to have moved on. We do ancestor work so that they can move on. We are blessed by those who have moved on and their ability to support us, but we do ancestor work so that they can be elevated. Because through their elevation, then we too in this life are elevated. We do elevation work so that when we do this work, so that they are elevated. My suggestion is, if you're going to the plantation, have a reason to be there. Don't just be going there and, because then you know better than them. If you're just going to walk around, hold on. Yes. Oh, you're watching TV. Okay. If you're going just to walk around and look and gawk, like it's a show, you're no better than they are. You're no better than them. You're still doing master's work. As far as I'm concerned, you're still doing master's work. If you're not going to go and do something, even if it's just to leave an offering, that's it. Even if you're just go and take an offering because you don't have the skill set to do anything more, at least take an offering. At least take an offering and wish for their wellness. Wish that they go home. Wish that they don't have to stay here anymore. Show them that you are better. Show them that you're better, that you haven't picked up those habits. So, we did that. We went to the plantation, and I was able to do, we did opening ceremonies for all the ceremonies we were doing. Is my godchild still in here? Oba, you still in there? Let me just tell you. One of my god kids, they have been learning. They have been, Oba, let me just tell you that you and them shells, like I look like someone's gonna say, like, is that a way to describe it? You nasty, like you nasty with them shells, man. What you cast is what came up in pre-ceremony divination. Exactly. The exact same one. The exact same message. You got it before. You got it the day before. I'm like, bruh, like we cast the Odu and it's like, that's the same one she gave me Tuesday. And I'm like, are you for real? Like so on. That was the coolest thing to see. I was like, that you putting in the work. You putting in the work. You are taking what you are learning and putting in the work. And that was the show of it. That was that I think you, for some reason, you need that to know. The message you got was the pre-ceremony message. Exactly. When I say exactly, like I just needed you to know, like, really good job. I needed to give you your flowers real quick because that was phenomenal. That was so freaking cool. That was so cool. That was really, really cool. So being able to get messages in from the ancestors and let the ancestors speak and speak over the ceremonies that we're going to take forward and the things that we're going to do to kind of make sure that everything runs smoothly was so nice. And it's always a joy to me when we get to do like a big group mojuba, because they not getting that like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not this vast amount of us doing a mojuba to our ancestors. There's not a lot doing that. And even if you can't, like, a mojuba, just saying their names, just calling every possible name of the ancestors whose names that you know. Just calling their names, speaking about them beyond the limitations of their human existence. That is what elevates them. When we continue to say, oh, well, so and so is only going to give me this blessing in this way because when they live, that's the only way they know how to operate. You keep them from elevating beyond what you knew them as in their human form. When you keep doing things like, oh, well, my ancestors going to do da da da, using them as a threat, using them as a weapon, you still doing master's work through your ancestor veneration practice. That's you still doing master's work through your ancestor veneration practice. You are using them as a tool, and that is not what they are. They are not a tool for you to use. They are a part of your spiritual court. They are there to help support you. They are not a tool for you to use just because you want to talk trash to somebody and when you want to use your ancestors to do it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Like I don't like that. Don't do that. So ceremonies, opening ceremony was beautiful. But when I tell you that has been an honor to be able to not only do Hand of Ifa, not only do Isefa for adults, but to be able to see children in the diaspora come up. Um, Children in the diaspora come up and be able to learn. And that has been like an ongoing message. Like the last couple of Ita Doguns, when I'm casting, the Odu that comes over is like at least one, if not two times saying, hey, teach your kids. Hey, bring your kids into the tradition. You doing this, bring your kids with you. And so to be able to support more than one of my goddaughters in bringing their children with them on the journey has been an honor. Has been an absolute honor. And to be able to do it in person has been like, it is so cool to just be able to do that, to, give them their days and give them their names and things that was a beautiful thing. The naming, um, like the beginning of my lineage is nothing but womb hole. It's a bunch of women in the room. When I tell you the tears was flowing, the tears was flowing. The tears were flowing. And I'm just like, yeah, this is beautiful. This is absolutely, this is just so beautiful. And it means so much to be able to do. To then support my goddaughters in taking their next step in their journey and really, really, really um, take their step up. And it was just like, oh, okay, this is nice. This is nice. It was a lovely set of ceremonies this week. But let me just be grateful for my godchildren. Let me just be grateful for my godchildren. One sent me some plates, and you can never have enough white plates. Like if you are an owl of any kind, you can't ever have enough white plates to put Ebo on. So I'm very excited to have another set of white plates because I'll be looking sometimes like, where are my white plates at? Are y'all eating them? Are y'all leaving them outside? Where are my white plates? So I got some more white plates, which I thought was really cool because they came in a box, and I'm just like, what is this? Because I was super confused. Like, what's in this big box? They like maybe they just felt like I needed a big box. So now I got some more white plates. I thought was really dope. If I might get up and show it to y'all, but they made me a fan, and because they were going to take me out they took me out to dinner. So they took me out to dinner, and we were getting dressed up. We got all gussied up. We color coordinated, and they made me a fan. Instead of buying me a fan, they handmade me a fan. When I tell you, see, I had a large head, and they asked me, they showed me some fans, and I say that's high compliment. I received that. Thank you. We'll do well. Um, they gave me a fan, and they were picking out the fan ahead of time, and they kind of wanted to know like what I liked, and they showed me a picture of this really large fan, and I said, "You really want me to pick?" I said, "If you ask me to choose, I'm going to choose the biggest fan possible because my head. I need enough fan to fan my whole head. So I need a big fan. I need enough fan to fan my whole head. And when I tell you, they walked in my house with the most beautiful white and gold fan. I said, "Oh my God, she is gorgeous. I'm going to go to Walmart with that fan." I don't know what I need at Walmart, but I'm gonna go to Walmart with the fan. The fan's gonna ride in the front like a baby, but I'm going to Walmart with the fan because the fan needs to be seen. You know how you have that really fly outfit on, and you're like, you ain't enough people ain't seeing you. You have to go someplace else because enough more people need to see you. That's how I feel about the fan. The fan needs to be seen by more people. More people need to see this fan. So first they bought me a fan, then they took me to a beautiful restaurant for dinner. It was so lovely. Everybody looked so nice. Even the kids, oh my gosh. When I say little people dressed all in white, little men dressed in white suits, oh, that was like so precious. Like absolutely the most precious thing. Seeing them all dressed up in their white and everybody else was dressed up. I'm like, this is so nice. So nice. And I was just really moved. And they're like, "We're gonna buy you dinner." And one of them fussed at me because I'm like, "Do I have an allowance?" And they're like, "If you don't pick out what you want okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm getting used to the things." So they took me out to dinner, which was really nice. But Saturday, Saturday, the only thing that would have made Saturday better would have been all of my goddaughters there and one specific additional person. That's it. That's the only thing that probably would have made it better is having them all there and him. And but he was there virtually. He was able to join via Zoom. And they set up an activity. They set up a place for the ancestor part was so dope because it was like their ancestors wanted to come. Their ancestors wanted to be there. So the spot for the ancestors didn't just have mine. It had theirs that were there to support, theirs that were there in celebration with us too. And I thought that was the sweetest thing to have all of these ancestors say, "We want to be present to celebrate with your Ia." And I thought that was a really beautiful statement. Um, my goddaughter put together this beautiful ancestor dedication to kitchen alchemy, the way that our ancestors would move energy and change energy simply by what they had in their kitchen. And so, as a tribute to that, she made like an entire setup of herbs and things and a cookbook and all this stuff that they could use and take with them to do their own kitchen work with their ancestors. Absolutely beautiful. Then they gave me, so it's my Odunfa, and I got to give my, I'm giving my Ebo to all of my shrines. I'm getting Ebo to all my shrines and doing all the blessings and making sure those blessings don't just rain on me, making sure they rain on those that were able to come and you know, and so after I did all of mine, then they basically came and blessed me with Evo. And it was really cool because they each wrote down like what they wanted the offering, what offering they gave, what they were giving the offering for, and presented the offerings to me. And I'm just like, this is the sweetest thing ever. And to even have not just my own godchildren, but friends who were able to join via Zoom, to have um, even someone who has been coming to my morning prayer sessions from TikTok. She came to the session. She was there on Zoom. She said the next time she wants to come in person, but she at least came and sat in the Zoom to come fellowship with me. And then to have somebody from another temple that I just met drive all the way here to come be there. It was more than what it was just more. It was beautiful. Like, let me just tell you about my spiritual court. Don't fall. Y'all don't fall. When I tell you that my spiritual court is hilarious, they are hilarious because, like, they just kept getting random messages. And I'm just like, this is what we doing tonight, huh? Got it. This is what we doing? Okay. Okay. This is what happens when you have a room full of mediums. This is what this looks like. You got a room full of mediums. Everybody's getting messages. And it was so hilarious to watch them just like, come in. And I got to get all these, like, getting all the messages and feeling the love. Like, my hope is that for them, when they have really cultivated relationship with their Ori, with Olodumare, with their ancestors, with the Orisha, and anyone else that's a part of their spiritual court, because it's not just limited to them, that they feel the volume, the level of love that I felt on Saturday. Like, Saturday, I felt loved. Saturday, I felt loved in the most beautiful way, not just from the spirits, but from them. Like, just absolutely loved on. Just absolutely loved on. And, you expect, you mentor, you support. So you expect a level of, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you're still here, so you at least know you like me. You like being in my presence. You like me. My energy's cool, cool. But to feel loved, like, I don't know about anybody else, but I can genuinely say that for the most part, at least 99% of my godchildren actually love me. Like, they actually love me. Like, they actually love me. And that's such a beautiful place to be at. Like, it's not just them learning, there is actual love and affection from them to me. And to be able to hold space virtually is one thing, but to be able to get it in person, man, be able to get it in person. And I would not be there if it had not been for EFI. That would just not be a thing if it hadn't been for EFI. And I will be honest, sometimes it's, hard to not have them closer. You know, I think that was the thing I said. I just wished everybody was closer to me, or I was closer to everybody so I could see everyone. So I could see everyone. And one day that'll be, it'll be easier for them to get to me and me to them and vice versa. But to be able to just be like, okay, y'all are here, right here in my presence. One time for Oriki class paying off, like it hit different in person. It hits different in person, but to be loved on in that way, to just be loved on from all these beautiful souls who just on an intuitive hunch said, hey, I think I'm supposed to talk to you, or I think I'm supposed to work with you, or you're supposed to help me. And I'm like, okay. And Ifa's like, no, you are really actually supposed to, like, help them. And I'm just like, okay. And it turns into, like, love. And sometimes I'm like, what did I do? Like, I genuinely sometimes be asking the question, like, what did I just, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. Like I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do, what I'm choosing to do. I'm doing, yeah, I'm supposed to do it, but I'm also choosing to do it. Like it's one thing to know you're supposed to be an Anifa, you're going to bring people into Ifa. That is what that's your call. That's what you're supposed to do. And there's another to say, I'm going to actually do it. You can know it's what you're supposed to do, but to actually do it, to actually say, I'm going to step forward, and I don't know what this is going to end up looking like. I don't know how this is going to be made manifest, but I'm going to actually do it. And to see them stand in who they are and watch them evolve and watch them grow and watch them to develop has been an absolute joy and honor. And I told somebody, I was like, if money didn't exist, it's Star Trek, because I'm a Trekkie. It's Star Trek. I don't need any gold plus platinum to get food. I don't need anything. I'm chilling. I got a nice house, kids taken care of, everything taken care of. I don't need money. I'd still do this. I'd still do it. I would absolutely still do it. I would still divine because divining is fun for me. I enjoy divination. I'd still do it. I enjoy teaching and talking about self love, and I enjoy teaching and talking about how self love is central to Ifa. I enjoy that. I enjoy that. I enjoy the time. I'm not disciplined by a long shot because ain't nobody gonna whoop me. I'm not obedient because ain't nobody gonna put me in timeout. I am devoted and consistent in my devotion. I am devoted and I am consistent in my devotion. I don't have a slave master and slave relationship with my spiritual court, my religious practices, my spiritual practice, or my tradition. I genuinely enjoy my religion. I genuinely enjoy my spiritual practice. I enjoy watching other people come to it and find out what it needs to look like for them. I enjoy that. I revel in that space. That space makes me feel good. I feel good in that space. And to be able to do this with womb holders. I didn't know 4 years ago when the Most High, my Ori, were like, you should host a goddess gathering. Who gonna come? Because that was my feeling. Who gonna come? Who gonna come? Why would they come to something like that with me? Who's gonna come? That 4 years later, not only would I have an elay of outside of the children, nothing but womb holders, but then I would also have a subset group who would join my melanated goddess journey. And I've got the group that's my Alafia. I got the group that is my actual godchildren, and then the ones that will join the 8-month program who will come to embrace their divinity within through that program and through that lens. I didn't expect that. I like you couldn't have told me that 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I was just like I am now, trusting. That's it. Trusting that I know. Trusting that I heard what I heard. Trusting that I divined what I divined. Trusting. Just sheer trust. And when I say everything that my Iolode said, everything that my first one time for Kai Luna, my first mentor was not Ifa based. They were just simply spiritual. They had an awareness of the Orishas, but they had a very deep ancestor practice and very deep understanding that they needed to like embrace themselves. And when my awakening hit me in 2020, I was like, so I see that you have gone through some changes, and if those changes were spiritual, and you do mentorship. I hope that you can help me because my tarot cards keep telling me I need an elder, and they also keep letting me know the elder may or may not be older than me. Okay, so they helped me. And when I tell you that they were pivotal in getting me to work on trusting my spiritual gifts, like, and just have a spiritual practice. Because, like, you can have spiritual gifts all day. Oh, like, you can have spiritual gifts all day and not have a spiritual practice. There's a reason why. See, our ancestors, at least pre colonization and slavery, didn't have elders per se in the way that we see them today. Um, like we see them today, and there's a lot of times they're super territorial. That's not how they learned before. They would go and apprentice with this one, and they would go and apprentice with that one. This one might be the one to initiate them, but they're learning from this one. They are, that's what that would look like. And they needed that. You know, womb holders were the oracles. Womb holders were the ones getting the messages. Before there were tools, there were womb holders. Before there were tools, there were womb holders. They were the tool. They were the oracles. And they had their mothers, their grandmothers, the other women within their community that helped them to actually work with their gift. How do you do this? What does this look like? How do you manage this? How do you channel mess? That's what they had help with. And my first mentor, that's what they did. I love that they would do stuff like take Uno cards, and we'd be on Zoom and they'd have the card and they'd be like, tell me what this card is. What color do you see on this card? To have me trusting, like, whatever the first answer is, trusting, working on that. First answer is answer. Just go for it. Even if you're wrong, it doesn't matter. Go for it. That's the first answer. And being able to hone the gift here, and have a practice with your ancestors. And this is what this could look like. And it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to look the way you're going to go on social media and they're going to have like the biggest ancestor altar ever. And they're going to have like tears and all this other good stuff and 15,000 candles. You don't need that. This is what you need. And they're still going to show up. This is what you need. And they're still going to show up. And that's what I did. And so I give much gratitude to Kai, because if Kai hadn't done that, what it did is it centered me in a way of myself so that the right content came to me. Like, I listen to people talk about, you know, their feed and the algorithm, and I do it like, it's like anything else. You are attracting it. So figure out why you're attracting it. And I started attracting not content about Orishas, but content about Ori. And so many other people get content about Orishas, and that's where their focus is, and all their focus is on the Orishas and not on their Ori, and they don't understand. Ori is not short for Orisha. Ori is a part of that. That it's a part of the process. It's the head of the process. It's the first part of the process. And then realizing in my own journey that, oh, I wonder if my sister, if the car, sorry, I think my car tried to connect. But recognizing that Ori work is the first work that should happen. Ori work is the first work that should happen, and it's because Ori work is self-love work. Ori work is self-love work. It is all about you and the self and honoring that. And it's like, so I'm the most important piece of this puzzle? Huh. Well, that's okay. I can rock with that. And just doing that work so that by the time my actual Ifa elder was made manifest, she says, you're already living Ifa. She says, you are already living Ifa. You are already walking in your Iwa Pele. Let me tell you, when I tell you, I have been listening to her radio show, listening to her podcast, and thinking, I am enamored in the most platonic spiritual way, loved her. In the single most platonic spiritual way, absolutely adored her just from watching her content. And then when my cousin gifted me that first reading with her, I also knew she didn't take no mess and that she was going to keep it all the way 100 with me. And I was like, she's going to tell me I am screwing up by the, I just knew it. I just knew it. I'm screwing up by the numbers, and that's what she's going to tell me. And that is not what she said. She said, you are on it. They are calling you forward. They are telling you to keep going. You got this. You got it. They're telling you to keep coming, to keep going, keep pushing forward and not to give up. And I'm just like, they are? Are they sure? Everything that I had ever divined for myself via dream, card, or simply learning how to channel, she confirmed every single thing. I told her nothing and she gave me everything. And when she told me, it's like saying someone has good energy. When she told me I was already living E5, she said, you're already living E5. You're living E5. You're already walking in your EY Pele. You simply need to keep going. When she said that, what? What do you mean? I cried like a baby. I cried like a baby because I just knew I was screwing up. I just knew it. I've spent so much of my life thinking I was a screw up that my expectation was I was going to get this divination and she was going to say that she was going to just confirm what I thought about myself, that I was screwing up. I was not. I was not. I was doing from the goddess gathering to understanding the messages from my job. I just remember asking her a question about work. And before she could cast, I started channeling. I didn't know that's what I was doing at the time, but I was channeling. And she said, I want you to rewatch this recording and listen to you divining over yourself. A lot of people, you hear a lot of times tarot readers say they can't read for themselves. I have never had that issue. Not once. When I tell you I will snatch my own edges in the divination with my own self, with no problem, I will snatch my own edges in a divination with my own self, with no problem. She gave me everything that I needed and things that I didn't even know I needed to know. And when she told me, I asked her, I was like, directly, like, am I supposed to initiate into E5? Because at the time, my feeling was I'm not going to initiate because we'll just say that all of the traditions that I saw, I didn't like how they saw women. That's what I'll say. And she said, I don't know what to tell you, but not only are you going to initiate, but you're going to be a whole priest. I could dig that. Okay. Okay. I got it. Okay. And then here I am years later. You're not just a priest, you're a high priest. All right. That's cool. That's cool. Last year, I had no plans for godchildren. That was not part of my plan. E5 was for me. E5 said, I want you to share. And I said, what? I'm new here. Why you want me to share? It's your elbow. Oh, come on, dog. Don't do that. That's not fair. That's not fair. Because now I'm absolutely going to do it because I got to get my elbow. E5 be knowing. They know certain things will come up as an elbow or a taboo because they know if I don't do nothing else, I'm going to give my elbow and honor my taboos. So then they'll give it to me that way so that I can't be like, girl. All right, fine. So they gave me sharing content about E5, sharing content about my journey as my ebo, as my offering. I don't want nothing tangible. I want you to do this. This is what I want you to do. Divine with your God sibling so that you could be comfortable divining for somebody. Because I wasn't divining for anybody. I did what my godmother said. I spent a year divining for myself. And for 6 months of that year, I divined every day. For 6 months after initiation, I divined every single day. I did a dafa. so that I could get comfortable, so that I could learn it. Plus, I was doing an exercise to prove the oneness in how messages will come. You might not get the message in the same language as an Odu, but if you are an actual medium, an oracle, you will get the message, period. It does not be worded the same way. It might not be worded the same way, but you're going to get the message. So for 6 months, I divine using multiple tools just to see if I would get the same message in every tool. That was actually really cool to do. And it was it was really the coolest thing to kind of watch unfold. Now I'm sitting here with not just one guy kid, I got a few, and I'm just like, for real? Is this my life? Few guy kids. This is what I do full time. I am an Ianifa full time. That is what I do. That is my life and that is my job. That's what I do full time. Is I am an Ianifa. I'm an Ianifa full time. What else do you do? Whose clock do you punch? I punch my clock. I punch the clock of Ifa. That's what I do. So yet Saturday it was like I'm really actually here living this life like this. And Ifa has the Orishas, they have just showed up in a way that's like, we're not ever going to let you down. Like, we're just not going to let you, like as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're not going to block your E-ray. You're not going to block it. Give your Ebo, observe your taboos, and trust in yourself. And trust in yourself. And you got it. Trust in yourself and you got it. And I'm like, okay. Yesterday I got my divination. And to be honest, because of just where certain things ended up happening, it was the first time someone else had divined for me for my Odunfa. Because I was not able to actually get that experience early on. So it was the first time someone else got to divine for me. So one, it was really cool because sometimes the healer wants to be in the healer wants to be able to get the healing. I can divine for myself, but I enjoy someone divining for me. And it's not that it doesn't stop me from getting messages and things like that. It just, I don't have to carry all that work. I don't have to carry that all by myself. So to have someone divine for me for the first time was really, really dope. The other piece of it was, the things Ifa said. And then the thing I can say is, I'm going to make more content. Yeah, I'm going to make more content. One of my friends that I have, we haven't met on person, we met on TikTok, but we talk outside of TikTok. And he was laughing because I made a video, and I don't do Odu videos often. And he said, not you teaching Odu for the free. And I was like, I wonder if that was an instruction. So, I want to do more content, like more teaching content of stuff that, I could just teach it in general. And I am opening up. I wasn't going to open my mentorship program until June. I was trying to figure out how to do it so that, because I've already, we're about 7 months in. So I didn't want to have someone come in and they're behind. But I'm reopening the doors to my mentorship program. You will not be behind. You will start at the beginning, but my mentorship program is officially open. I'll be making some content to kind of tell you how to enroll, what it includes. If you want to know what it includes, you can drop it in the comments and ask. But I am opening that back up. The Melanated Goddess Gathering begins at the, I want to say it's October 11th. If I'm looking at it, it's October, the second week of October. The second weekend in October, that is the first session for the Melanated Goddess Collective. It is not like a regular course, so it doesn't have a regular course pricing. It is only going to be $40 a month for those 7 months. If you want to pay it all in one shot, you are more than welcome to do so. And if you want to participate in it, there will be a women's rites of passage that we're going to be doing at the end of May to kind of culminate the journey. And that's going to be in person. So if you want to fly out, drive out, however it is to get here and be a part of that, that'll be how we culminate that journey. But that's kicking off next month. I'm going to still continue to do O'Shea with Owinnie, which will be back tomorrow, where y'all can sit and open up the room. Come in the Zoom, like come hang out with us in Zoom. Come in the Zoom. It's more direct interaction. So come in the Zoom so that you can be in the community space like that, be there. Sometimes my godchildren are actually able to join in and be in the space too. So come in, kind of hang out with us. Um, but I'm still going to be doing that every 4 days. So every 4 days in the morning, I will be live doing my morning prayers for O'Shea Ola, or for some most of y'all are commonly known as O'Shea Ifa. So I'll be doing my prayers, doing my offerings. Those who are present get included in the offerings. Donations are appreciated but not required. Um, so yeah, there's growth happening. Um, if there are classes that you feel like you would like to see me teach, if you want a class on Ori, that is already available on my site. It is a 12-week program to help you begin or reaffirm, recultivate your relationship with your Ori. There are 3 payment options available for it, but it is a 12-week program to just help you in establishing a relationship with Ori. But if there's anything else that you feel like you want to see me teaching over the next year, any classes related to the tradition, if it's something else, we'll see if I can do. Um, but I'm really excited about that. So it's 4:15 my time. So my kids be home 45. So I say I got 15, 20 minutes before I should probably start dinner. So I'm gonna open the floor. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna open the floor while I'm finishing up my e-day and say, what do you want to know? What questions do you have about Ifa, my tipple, anything, my journey? What questions do y'all have? I'm gonna open it up to y'all. I don't know if y'all are on Facebook or YouTube, but hey, either one. Facebook, YouTube folks, hi, hello, greetings and salutations. So yeah, TikTok, what do y'all want to know? Questions that y'all have had or have about, spiritual journey in general, Ifa, anything that you want to know, you can ask. 6, 7. I wish I had my tape measure. I think I have a 7-inch wrist. I think. I don't know. I might need to go 7.5. Yeah, I might need to look at that. Do 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 do. Hey, cousin. I think I saw you pop in. Hi, cousin. Do 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 do. And somebody else popped in too, but I missed their name. Any questions? Any comments? And any of my god kids in there, if there's a class you want to see me teach, you can make a suggestion as well. Make the suggestion. As I want to do some more, I need some topics. I need topics. Some inspiration. I need some inspiration. No questions? Is everybody in the TikTok actually already in the tradition? Yeah. Show me emojis. How many are actually already in Isheshe or some other denomination of Orisha tradition? Do I have a lot or just a couple? So I'm going to take that as there's nobody. Nobody. All right. So not in the tradition. What about who's like eyeballing, like saying they're going to take the plunge? And why? Who's going to take the plunge and why? Okay, my Facebook and TikTok, YouTube people, y'all gotta comment and say like hi, because I don't know which one y'all are on, because StreamYard don't show it to me that way, so I can't see it. I can see that y'all are there, but I can't see who's there or whether they're on YouTube or whether they're on Facebook. I can't. Yeah, I definitely only have couple of minutes. We only a couple of minutes. Definitely only a couple of minutes. No questions? Y'all are good? Well, I will be opening up. I haven't opened up for divination in a minute because I've just been busy. And plus I hadn't really made any content that said, hey, I'm still taking appointments for divination, but I am still taking appointments for divination. If you are someone who thinks you want to join my class, you do need to get divination to determine if that's what you should do. Because I'm not going to let someone enroll in the class who actually should not be in the temple. So, and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong. It just may be I'm not your elder. So I am doing divination for folks who want to join the program. However, if it's confirmed and you're like everything's good, I will knock off the cost of the divination off of your first payment. So you will at least get that back. But I am only doing. Hold on. I wish you wouldn't be so anal that it has to be absolutely perfect. There we go. So I am doing that, opening up space for that. And I'll make a post and I'll update the link in my bio. But you can go to my site and enroll in the Melanated Goddess Collective. Like I said, that one's only $40 a month, and we're going to be kicking that off in a couple of weeks. But if y'all are good, nobody has any questions, comments, emotional outbursts, I'm going to let y'all go. I got some turkey wings I need to bake or fry. I haven't decided which one. Do. Okay. All righty then, with all hearts and mind. Um, are you signing up? Are you going to join us? You going to join the journey? Yay! Yay! Come on and join us. I'm excited for the Melanated Goddess Collective. We gonna be reading. I gotta figure out how to say this word, so that it doesn't get flagged on TikTok. So we're gonna be going through for the Melanated Goddess Collective. We're gonna be going through 3 books. We're gonna be doing Yoni prayers. That's not what it's called. It begins the actual word, little kitty cat. What we call one of those? Yeah, that book is going to be first, and then we're going to do People Please, and then the rest of the journey is we're going to go through the African Goddess Initiation. So I'm really excited. I tried to do 6 months last time, and it actually was not long enough. So this time it'll be 8 months, and that way we can do the full African Goddess Initiation, and what meeting twice a month. Yes, that one. Yes. Enjoy getting your hair braided, honey. Um, but yes, that's the first book. That's the first book, and the same author wrote Please. So it's those 2 books by her, and then the African Goddess Initiation. Those are the 3 books that we're going to be going through. Last time we did God is a Black Woman. But I think we'll just add some conversation around that idea within the journey. I've already got it kind of mapped out how we're going to do it. So I'm really just excited to do that work with y'all. Space will be limited because I can't have my, well, I guess we'll see. I don't know. If I get a large enough group that actually wants to come um, to in person for the rite of passage, I might get a venue. I was gonna say like my house is a little like can't get everybody here, but a large enough group might be worth my while to get a venue for that. So that's gonna be fun. I'm excited to do it. Um, I do also host a civil circle as well. So those of you who are working on your mediumship, um, it is inspired by the idea of a misa. Um, but I wanted something that was for Black women because in that tradition, it does align to a specific lineage of people. And though they may be of African descent, a lot of them are not necessarily Black American women. And I wanted this space for the civil circle to be specifically for Black American women. Black American women who are honing their gifts, coming into their gifts, however that, is for them, and to be able to do their mediumship work in safe space. And what I like about it is that though I am an Ianifa, I encourage them to use the gift that they have. So I have a couple people that pull cards. I have some that automatic write. It is a mediumship space. I do what I need to do depending. Sometimes I might do something E5 specific. Sometimes I got a whole table full of cards. Sometimes I pull cards. It kind of just depends on the mood that I'm in. Or sometimes I might just simply channel. A lot of times I'm just simply the anchor to hold the space while I let them do their work. And everybody always gets homework. Everybody always gets a homework assignment. And for those who are enrolled in the civil circle, I actually gave them a spiritual gymnasium to work in. So that is another just really cool offering that I have available as well. All right, so it's about 4:30. As always, if you have questions that you were not able to ask and you wanted to ask me, you can always send me a DM. But the fastest way to get me really is on my website. I have a live chat. When it pops up, it is coming to my phone. So unless I'm busy or something, generally speaking, that's the fastest way that communication, especially on here, if we're not mutuals, then you go into that message requesting thing. Whereas if you just go to the site, you could just send me a message. You could just DM me directly on my website. Otherwise, thank y'all for keeping me company while I made my pieces. This is the new one. This is the new one that I made, which I am thoroughly enjoying. So thanks for keeping me company while I work. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Um, I will see y'all bright and early. I will be on at 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. And otherwise, Odabo. Okay. Bam. I got a word I hit and I did.